Okay, this is some video taken when we went to visit the little, what used to be a village but now a small town called Chaddesden in Derbyshire, which is where I was brought up. And we just took a drive up one of the roads I used to use a lot, just out of interest, and then drove up the lane called Field Lane that I used to live in. So at the moment we're driving up what's called Chaddesden Park Road. All these houses were there when I was growing up. I used to cycle up here regularly. It's a good friend of mine used to live in one of the houses on the right here, a chap called Robert Gamble. And somewhere here on the left, it's gone now, there used to be an old church hall that my mum used to go to when she was a youngster, because she grew up in Chaddesden as well. So we'll make way for this lady on her bicycle, making good progress up here. You see it's a lovely day, but these places on the left here, they weren't there when I was growing up. They've all been built since. Just on the right there, where that car's coming out, that's the entrance to Chaddesden Church, and the library's down there, and also Chaddesden Park, where we used to go and play. The road here on the right, we used to walk up to school. Will take us up there. The white building on the right was where some friends of my parents used to live. They were the older Shaws. Shops on the left were there. There's a fruiterer's on the corner. On the left here, there was the black and white places. There was a fish and chip shop and a sweet shop we used to go and buy bits and bobs from. As we come round here, round the corner, straight ahead is the Wilmot Arms, which was the local pub for my parents. I was quite often taken there as a youngster and sat in the beer garden. The garage straight ahead where we used to buy petrol. We're now turning into Wood Road. We used to walk along here to school, and there's some shops on the right just coming up. And we're turning left now into Field Lane, which is the lane that I was both born in and grew up in. And the white house on the right there, the small pointy house, is the house that I was born in and brought up in. It's number 16 Field Lane, coming up on the right now. It's a converted cottage. It was a lovely place. It's all quite run down now, but you'll see some more video of that very shortly. Places on the right were all built in later years. All my friends used to live in the houses on the left here. We used to spend almost all our time out playing in the lane and generally larking about. Well, this is Field Lane, the little lane in Chaddesden where I was born. These buildings obviously weren't here when I was growing up here, but this is where I did all my larking about with my mates. That little jetty there we used to go through to pick up friends from the next street through to Poyser Avenue. And the building on the right behind the trees is where I was actually brought up, which would be 16 Field Lane, Chaddesden. This is just a general scene. On the other side of the road, 21 Field Lane, where my mum grew up. The square house there on the right is the house that my two friends, the Salisburys, lived in. And 21 Field Lane is the left-hand one of those two. That's the house that I was born in. The little window on the left is the room. It was a bathroom that was originally a bedroom that I was actually born in. Those wrought iron gates on number 21 Field Lane were made by my grandfather, and that's the little yard that my mum used to play in when she was a little girl. And that's 16 Field Lane, the cottage I was brought up in. It was originally an old thatched cottage which my parents had redone, and that's just a closer view of it. There's a long corridor on the upper storey, goes past all the bedrooms. The bottom left-hand window there was the kitchen. That little room above the sloping roof there is where I was born. The cottage at the back was where my grandfather lived. It's all looking very dilapidated now. Paint's peeling off the garage doors. Very sad to see. It's just not being maintained very well. The original structure was about 400 years old. Beautiful beams inside it. It's a lovely, lovely place with a lot of land to it at the back. So that's just looking down. I used to walk down there to school with my friends. Number 12 at the house next door, carved into the hedge. That was done by a chap called Jack Lewis. He was very proud of that, and it's great to see it's still there. It's terrific. So quite sad to see the old place again. But, I doubt very much that I'll be going back there. So this will probably be my last look up Field Lane.